Welcome to our presentation on emergency eye wash. This module is brought to you by Surge Learning. This presentation must be supported with your organization's policies and procedures and in compliance with the Canadian Centre for Occupational Health and Safety eye wash standards, as well as the provincial eye wash standards. Today we will review the purpose of eye wash stations, the employer's responsibility, what type of eye wash equipment are available to workers, the legislated location of eye wash stations, when and how to use an eye wash station, and the maintenance requirement for eye wash equipment. Emergency eye wash stations are a necessary first aid step to minimize the effects of accidental exposure to chemicals in the workplace. The first 10 to 15 seconds after exposure to a hazardous substance, especially a corrosive substance, are critical. Delaying treatment even for a few seconds may cause serious injury. Emergency eye wash stations provide on-the-spot decontamination. When a chemical or irritant enters your eyes, knowing how to properly flush them can save your sight. The employer must ensure that appropriate emergency eye washing facilities are provided within a work area where a worker's eyes may be exposed to harmful or corrosive materials or other materials which may burn or irritate. Ensure that the appropriate water source is provided in a plumbed emergency eye wash station or in an eye wash unit. The worker has immediate access and that the access to any emergency eye wash unit is not blocked by material or equipment. The selection of emergency eye washing equipment is based upon an assessment of the risks present in the workplace in consultation with the Occupational Health and Safety Committee. Emergency eye washes are clearly identified by signs which indicate their location and provide clear directions for their use. Workers are adequately trained in their location and proper use. Part of the instructional process should include a hands-on drill and how to find equipment. And routine maintenance and testing of the eye wash equipment is done. You may have access in your setting to an emergency plumbed eye wash fountain, which provides a continuous flow of tempered potable water for a minimum duration of 15 minutes or more if required by the nature of the material that you have been exposed to. Or, where plumbed water is not available, a portable eye wash unit filled with potable water or an isotonic saline flushing solution, which is also an effective means to flush the eyes. Let's learn more about the location requirements by clicking on the level of risk. The location of the emergency eye wash stations will depend on your risk of exposure to chemicals or irritants. Click on the High Risk Hazard tab to begin. For high-risk corrosive gases such as ammonia or chlorine, the facilities must not be located in the gas storage or use area, but rather adjacent to it. Eye washing stations or portable eye wash units must be located within 5 seconds walking distance of a high-risk hazard area and no further than 20 feet or 6 meters. For example, housekeeping rooms where liquid cleaners and bleach may be used must have an eye wash station within 5 seconds walking distance. In low to moderate risk hazard areas, eye wash stations must be within 10 seconds walking distance and no further than 100 feet or 30 meters. For example, in the tub rooms where soap or shampoo may get in the eyes. For high-risk corrosive gases such as ammonia or chlorine, the facilities must not be located in the gas storage or use area, but rather adjacent to it. When using a plumbed eye wash station, if a chemical splashes in your eyes, time is of the essence. Go immediately to the eye wash fountain, which should be located within 10 seconds walking distance from you if you work with caustic chemicals. Begin to flush. Get your eyes directly in the stream of the flushing fluid. Hold your eyes open with your fingers and gently roll your eyes from left to right and up and down to be sure that the fluid is flushing all of the areas of your eye. Continue flushing your eyes for a full 15 minutes. This is important because you want to fully dilute the chemical and wash it out of your eyes. Any less time than 15 minutes is not enough time to accomplish this. If you have contact lenses in your eyes, you can gently take them out while you are flushing. Don't delay the flushing to take out your lenses, but make sure that you take them out during the flush as soon as possible because they could trap the chemical in your eyes. After you have flushed, see a doctor to determine if anything more needs to be done for the preservation of your vision. When using a portable eye wash, if a chemical splashes in your eyes, immediately go to get a nearby portable self-contained eye wash unit. Flush your eyes and eyelids with water or eye solution for a minimum of 15 minutes. Roll your eyes from left to right and up and down to ensure the full rinsing. Remove your contact lenses as soon as possible to ensure that chemicals are not trapped behind the lenses, and then the eyes can be completely rinsed of any harmful chemicals. After you have flushed, see a doctor to determine if anything more needs to be done for the preservation of your vision. The eye wash stations or units should be inspected and maintained according to the manufacturer's instructions and at least annually for overall operation. The biggest hazard associated with improperly maintained eye wash stations is infection. When water is stationary over time, it's more likely to contain infection-causing organisms. Methods to discourage the growth of harmful bacteria in eye wash stations will vary for different types of stations. But generally, the two methods are regular flushing and use of antibacterial agents in the water solution. The employer must ensure that a plumbed emergency eye wash is full flow tested at least once per month for a sufficient length of time, at least 15 minutes, to completely flush the branch of water line supplying the eye wash, and that an emergency eye wash and the piping from the supply are protected against freezing. The employer must ensure that a valve which activates an emergency eye wash facility is designed so that once activated, the flow of water or flushing solution will continue without requiring the use of the operator's hands. In this module, we talked about first aid for chemical exposure. Remember to rinse the eyes for 15 minutes, roll the eyes while open, and remove any contact lenses if applicable. We talked about the employer's responsibility, such as providing and maintaining equipment, completing a risk assessment, training, and routine testing. We discussed equipment and locations. such as the plumbed station with the flowing water and the portable handheld unit. We also talked about appropriate signage and areas. And finally, we discussed the use of the eyewash stations. Be familiar with the locations of the eyewash stations in your workplace and how to use them. Thank you for joining us. This concludes our presentation on emergency eyewash.